Downtown Fargo, where culture, creativity, and community collide. You've heard the headlines. Now hear what's really happening. Bringing the best of Broadway direct to you. The stories, the people, and the places that make downtown the heartbeat of our city. This is Rocky's Downtown Hour with Rocky Schneider.
Happy Friday, everybody. This is Rocky's Downtown Hour. What a beautiful Friday. Wow. I was going to talk about the holiday season today, but it just doesn't feel right when it's sunny and it's going to be, record-breaking highs. This is a great opportunity for us to get out, enjoy the outdoors before the snow hits, before the holiday season comes, and still just be out there with your families in the community, and this will be great. This is my 30th week here, episode on Rocky's Downtown Hour. Pretty excited about that. It's been a lot of fun and getting to figure out and play radio host and talk to a lot of amazing guests and just get to share with the community and get the feedback from everybody on what they want to hear, what they're learning about, and just kind of leaning into this. It's been a lot of fun and really excited about the next season upon us in winter and all that means for downtown. We did a little experiment this week. We hung up all the Christmas lights up and down Broadway and Main Avenue, and you'll see it all lit up already, ready for the season. There's 150,000 bulbs that light up downtown, and so it makes it sparkle, brightens it. I know we all get probably a little depressed when you leave work at 5 and it's the sun's gone, right? So it's, as much as the northern lights are pretty cool at night, we'd like the sun to last a little bit longer probably too. But fortunately, downtown, you walk outside, it's all lit up, and so we're excited about that. We have a lot of holiday things coming up. Next Friday, we are going to have this show remote. There's going to be a guest host, and it's going to be live from Christkindlmarkt at the Civic Center. It opens at noon, so if you're looking for something to do with your team, hop on over for lunch there. And then stick around. There's lots of shops, hot cocoa. It's probably still be pretty good weather. And you'll hear on the radio here about everything coming up on Christkindlmarkt. And then the following Tuesday on the 25th is the Broadway Square tree lighting. The Fargo Park District's trees going up. Their ice rink is in. No ice on it yet, but it's all ready to go. As soon as this kind of heat wave passes, there will be ice coming on it next week. And then the rentals there will work for the skate rentals, and you'll be able to come down and enjoy everything that is at Broadway Square. And the tree lighting sort of kicks off that effort, but we'll have Christkindlmarkt for 2 weeks on either side of that. And then we're excited because we're working with all the businesses downtown. We started last year a little program called the Window Wonderland, and we had over 50 businesses participate, and they had a little decorating contest. Kind of harken back to the old days of window shopping and the joys of that. And so we want to ask people to come downtown and walk from window to window and see all the different holiday festive displays and get to vote on who's their favorite and find something new for you downtown. It's the best part about downtown is you can go out to dinner one place or go out to an appointment or go to work, and you walk by a couple stores that you might not have seen before. You might have not been there in a while, and you'll stop in and see something cool on their window, and maybe you'll buy something as well. But we're just excited about that. We love the holiday season. We know what it means to all of our local stores. We all spend a lot of money on the holidays. And so just, again, asking everybody to consider that as you're out there spending money. We all buy stuff online, but if you can shop local or find a local option, go enjoy it. Talk to the shop owners. They're all there. They're hung their shingle, living their dream. Go talk to them about it. Ask them about it. They'll be happy to show you. Get live reviews. I think you look at reviews online. I know we all do. That's how we buy what we buy. Some of them sound fake. Some of them sound real, and you try to figure out which ones are real. But if you talk to the local shop owner, they'll tell you they bought that stuff for a reason. They stock that for a reason. They don't stock everything, right? And so if it's in a local store, ask them about it. Try it out. It's the beauty of going in a store and getting to try that. Yesterday, downtown, we had a little conference. Flint Communications put together an Amplify Marketing conference, and it was at the Jasper Hotel, and there's probably, I should have counted, 150 people there, maybe, something like that. Local marketers, national marketers, and they had great presentations about everything you can do from how to properly budget, how to stay up with the times, how to market on social media versus print. A lot of good content, but it was interesting for local stores. It was talked a lot about what you can do, just the little things that make a big difference. Go on Google and Google yourself. I think we probably all Google our own names, but they said, Google your business. Figure out, see what comes up. And if you don't like what comes up, you can change that. And so there are ways and strategies you can do to go in and change that. But one of the simplest one is just claim your company on Google if you haven't done it yet. Update your pictures, add your profile picture, change your hour information, because what they really stress is just trust, right? People want to be able to trust, and amazing, everybody trusts Google and that took a while. But if you go on Google and Google a company and the hours are wrong, they remember that. And so it's nothing you did as a business or didn't do, but you can work on that. You got to work with all your partners, and our online sources are a big partner. But one of the topics that I am passionate about, and I think it's creating a huge divide, not just internationally, but locally and in communities. And it's not politics, it's artificial intelligence, and people using it or not using it, and people's view of it, their fear of it. They're embracing it. Some people embrace it and don't talk about it. Schools are obviously challenged by it. And so I think people have a lot of, I don't want to say strange, I guess a lot of misconceptions about it as they learn more and more. It's not like, it's just like any technology change that's happened. Everyone dives in at different times, but this one's moving faster. I worry, though, as it's moving faster, it's creating a bigger divide, too. So we have a guest today, Scott Meyer, who has a local AI company called Chipp, who's just been doing great things trying to make AI relatable to people. He's hosted a number of different just training seminars. He's got a website, and I think it's really approachable. And we're just excited to talk about that and how you can use it, how you can enter into it. It's really something that you can use a little, use a lot, but I always told people, it's like when you first got your smartphone. I remember I worked with a guy who loved his flip phone and refused to get, an iPhone or a smartphone. He's like, I'm fine with this. And as soon as he did, right, he was like, okay, I was wrong. This has changed my life for the better, And so I think we're all been through that at some point where we're reluctant to jump into the next modern thing. And then once we do, we are like, well, how did we ever do without this, right? The remote control, for instance, on the television. I mean, can you imagine when that first came out? They're like, oh, are you too lazy to stand up and go to the TV to change the channel? How many channels are there? We don't need a remote. And then all of a sudden it's like, can you imagine getting up and changing the channel these days? I mean, I don't even think we could find where the channel changer is on our TVs, let alone that. So, try to just break it down for people on we've all experienced this before. This is just a little different. It's not laziness to use AI. I'd argue it's the exact opposite. It allows you to so much more. And so we're going to break that down, and it's going to be really good, educational, but I encourage you to listen. If you are listening to the radio, maybe you're not into technology. Maybe it's something new. Maybe it's something you dabbled with or heard about, but I encourage you to listen to this show because I think Scott's going to break it down for us and make it approachable and tell us how we can dip our feet. And especially if you're a small business, what can we do to not just advance your own personal brand, but your company's brand as well. I know a lot of people use it these days to refine their resumes, to refine cover letters, to approach your own brand. You can do it everything from your shopping lists to recipes to, I think the new latest thing is to plan trips. If you've ever haven't done that, I encourage you, tell AI go on Chipp.ai and say, I have $1,000 for a weekend, where can I go? Or I want to go to, whatever place. I want to go to Nashville for $1,000 for a weekend. Can you plan out a 3-day trip? You'll be amazed at what you get out of just a simple prompt like that. But we're going to talk all about that when we come up with Scott Myers, and we're just excited to have somebody like this that's in downtown Fargo. It shows the diversity of Fargo. I think a lot of people have other conceptions of Fargo when you go around the country, but we have a little bit of everything here, and there's a reason we have that environment here, that people are willing to come here and create new business, new ideas. I think it's AI goes beyond just the huge AI data centers that we hear about in the paper. It's AI's revolutionizing things, and I think we're primed here just as well as anywhere to be a hot spot for that. So we'll come back with Scott and hear more about AI when we get back. Welcome back. This is Rocky's Downtown Hour. I'm joined by Scott Meyer. He is the founder of Chipp.ai. Scott, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. Yeah, love downtown, love Rocky. So it's two of my favorite things here in one show.
Well, give us an overview. What is Chipp?
All right. Well, Chipp is an easy way to build AI applications for a business. And so a lot of us use a tool like ChatGPT to ask questions or to create things. Chipp allows you to create a brand native experience. So it lives on your website. You see the chat logs, you can control the privacy, and you can actually control the output. So it sounds like your business and you can share what you want. So it's a great option for people who want the power of AI for their own business.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all been in businesses where we hate answering the phone to take questions or like respond to emails. And so this is the idea of taking that and making it more user-friendly, but also just a ton of staff capacity freed up.
Yeah, our most popular use case is customer support. And so Chipp is what we call multimodal, meaning it's not just a web chat. It can be a phone, it can be a WhatsApp chat, it can be an email. So you can imagine calling in and the AI is trained on your information. It gives answers. I think about it as like a true answering machine. You know, most of us grew up with answering machines, but it's actually a message taking machine.
Yep.
Now you can give answers and take a message at the same time and then redirect to humans if you need to.
Yeah, so you can literally be in more than one space at once, right?
Yeah,
That's-
exactly. It's a opportunity for North Dakota because, you know, a lot of times the greatest challenge is people. And is there people to hire? Is there talent to do what we need? And AI can, you know, remove a time constraint that a lot of businesses have and maybe even fill in a gap of knowledge or skills.
So, you know, I think this is so interesting this week, especially because obviously at the city commission meeting in Fargo, there was Applied Digital's big, you know, AI data centers are in the news and people come out in droves to talk about them. It's tons of news articles. And we rarely talk about the other side of that here, right? It's like we talk about how North Dakota is perfect for these data centers, but it also can be perfect for a company dealing with AI.
Right. And the power of AI is it's on intelligence on tap. You know, it's literally like turning on the faucet. Anyone can go get this intelligence. And so I think about a lot of people say it's the year of agents. I really think it's the year of agency, which is, are you going to be brave enough to start using this, right? Do you have the ability to test it out? Just like we did in the old days with social media or in the early days with email. Like, I just want to see how it works and try it. And that's a great first step for people.
So yeah, maybe that's a good conversation as first step. You know, my mom, she's a widow, lives alone. I introduced her to ChatGPT's audio version, and you
Right.
can just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And my mom likes to talk, and so she's one that will just turn it on, and now she can just talk to it and have
Right.
a real conversation.
Yeah, and we've built that in. So with Chipp, you have audio ability, same as ChatGPT. But what's cool is, you know, I'm in the car all the time driving my kids around. I can share ideas via audio, and it can send that into a Google document or into a blog post or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity both on both ends. I also have young kids, and you know, my 10-year-old has used the audio version to ask questions about bullies. Not something she would tell me,
Right.
and she doesn't have the typing skills to, you know, type. And so there's a lot of potential, you know, whether it's phone or audio or whatever it is. So exciting times. I mean, and North Dakota is a perfect place to do it. You don't, you know, you need the agency. You don't need necessarily a specific building or a specific, you know, tool. Like, it's all here.
No, that's so interesting that, you know, kids are going to be so much more native to this, right? Where
Yeah.
we can be scared of it. And that's
Right.
okay. It's change for us. For them, it's just reality. And
Yeah.
it's fun to watch a kid use it because they'll do something wild and it'll be like, I never thought of using it that way. And to them, it's
Yeah.
just like, well, why wouldn't you do that? I had a question about bullying. Why wouldn't I talk to it?
Right.
that about it?
Yeah. I tell everyone, like, the best way to get started is think about AI as like a team member that has skills that you need. So it might be doing strategy, saying like, what's the weakest part of my argument in this, you know, thing I wrote. And I think about like 4 levels of AI. Like, the first one that most people do is just a better Google, right?
Mhm.
But there's so much more. Like, the second is you can use it for business processes like strategy. And then I think the third and the fourth is you start building workflows, so it's automatically doing things for you. And the fourth is where you're building it for other people, so either your colleagues or your customers. And so I think that's a great challenge for people, is how can you go deeper from Google to business questions to workflows to true customer engagement.
You know, I've seen that as one of the challenges right now is people trying to know how to dip their toe in, right? Because I
Yeah.
think everyone's at a different level, right? And
Yeah.
that's totally okay. But when you log on and try to find a training, you know, it's like
Yeah.
some I'll go to and you'll be like, this was a waste of time. It was too beginner. Then others I'll go to and it's like, this is really like code heavy,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like, well, I'm not building apps, you know, that's not what I want to do either. And so I need something in the middle. But like, how does somebody go out and approach this right away? Like,
Yeah.
what's the easy first step?
Yeah, I think an easy step is think about it, like talk to it as a strategy partner and ask your questions right on AI. So whether it's ChatGPT or you go use Chipp or any other tool, tell it, you know, I'm not into code. I just want it for these things. Give me a tutorial. we have an academy that's free. Anyone can go visit, called the Chipp Academy. So we have AI 101, prompt engineering, and that's just video lessons that I've done, and it's an easy way for us to support our customers. So you can go to Chipp.ai and click on Academy and start learning there for free as well.
So Chipp.ai, just type it into the
Just
web
search
browser
Chipp Academy or go to Chipp.ai, and then you just sign up for the academy where you can go through lessons. And then we have a lot of like consultants and agencies who use Chipp. So you can kind of think about, you might use a Squarespace to build a website for a client. People use Chipp as the AI tool to build AI solutions. So if anyone out there is looking to get into the business of selling AI solutions, that's a common use.
Yeah, I always tell people it's my recommendation is to be vulnerable with AI.
Right.
Because it's, if you start with it like a Google, you're going to get a Google type answer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's
but
pretty
if you're
robotic.
vulnerable and be like, hey, here is my worry about what I'm thinking, I have this idea, but I'm worried it's going to offend somebody, or I'm worried it's not going to hit the right audience, or it's going to sound too, parochial, or, whatever the case is. Right. And be vulnerable with it and tell it all of your worries and things you want. And then it takes that into account. So it doesn't just guess on an answer.
I give people the shorthand. I call it the RIPE framework, RIPE. And essentially, if you tell the AI in your question like 4 sentences, which is the role. So you are a strategist, you are a marketer, you are a school counselor. The instruction, like give advice, and the parameters, like keep it short, write it for a 5th grader, whatever kind of level. And then an example, like here's a good example. If you do those 4 things, the AI really changes its personality and knowledge to what you need.
So I'm just going to kind of to go into this, because I've heard people say, well, I don't want to use AI. It seems like it's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you say when someone says that to you?
This is a tool that other people are using. And so you can use it for the things that you don't want to spend as much time on. So if you feel like your core job is, creating strategy, like you don't need to use AI to do that. You can use it for the other things that aren't your core mission. And I think, unfortunately, if you're not using it, you're going to be at a disadvantage. We have a team of 3 developers, and they're using AI to develop more quickly. And, we're able to outproduce teams much larger. I think pretty soon that'll be just table stakes. Like if you're not using it, you'll be slower. But I think we can keep our core thing that we're good at and use AI to take away the other tasks that we all get, piled on. Like we all get asked to respond to customer requests or to generate a PowerPoint or whatever. And like, maybe that's not what we're meant to do on this earth. We can spend our time on the hard work.
Yeah. I think one thing I've recommended to people on it too is I think people are, some offices are, I remember when it first came out and I worked at a different company and they were like, hey, don't use it, was kind of their company-wide thing. And I'm like, well, that doesn't seem like a good solution.
Yeah. One of the ways that Chipp has had a big impact is you can set up privacy within a company. So you could say, we don't want any of this information shared to ChatGPT or saved anywhere. And then the employees can build with it without fear.
Sure.
So I always tell people, like, the fear of messing up often outweighs the fear of missing out for most people. So the FOMO is greater than the FOMO.
Yeah.
And so as a business, how do you help people understand what they can and can't do and make them feel safe? And I always say, like, the best way to get started with that is, like, literally have lunch. Like, do a lunch and learn, because people are already putting your company data or asking questions without knowing if they should. So it's almost better to be like, hey, how are we using this? How is it good? And what are we not going to share? Like, if we just tell everyone, hey, don't upload customer data, that'll solve 90% of the problems. You might have people forget or mess up, and that's where something like Chipp, covers the bases. But a lot of times you just have to talk about it, and that makes it okay for people to use it.
Another thing I heard I got recommended to me was, don't use it at work if you've never used it. Use it at home. Mm-hmm. Like, we all have limited home time. And so when you're going through and I mentioned earlier, planning a trip or planning a recipe, or here's what I have in my fridge, what can I make? Decisions we make all day, every day when you open up the fridge, you're like, what should I do for dinner? Yeah. It's like, if you had a list of what's in the fridge or in your pantry or whatever, and kick it out, and you'll see how you can use it, and it'll start to expand your thought process. Like, I could use this at work then.
Yeah, and AI is really good at what computers are bad at, and computers are really good at what AI is bad at. So if you need to do a big calculation, like a spreadsheet's way better, right? But if you have like very disparate thoughts and you need to figure out how do these connect together, AI is so good at that. So a lot of times I'll take a picture of random notes I've written down, or maybe, my kid's academic calendar combined with snack calendar combined with soccer practice, and be like, figure all this out for me
Yeah.
and put it together in a list that I can understand. Because as humans, it gets really hard to like switch contexts and put all that together. And it's nice to have help.
No, you mentioned parenting too. It's been a parenting tool. I remember just school uses certain terms that maybe you learned a long time ago, and like I could probably remember this, but I haven't used it in a long time. Like some math term or something. It's like ask ChatGPT. I need to work with an 8th grader on this. What do I need to know as a parent before going to talk to them? And basically be like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense again. And it'll give you a quick refresh. So you don't have to go, and you can still be the hero and the smart person to your, teenager.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a number of schools that use Chipp, and they love it because we can teach it not to give answers. You teach it to be Socratic, so it's ask more questions, get them to understand, versus ChatGPT that often will give the answer. So it's great to think about what's the best way to learn and even test that with AI.
Okay, so when we come back, we're gonna have the topic 5 things retailers should be doing right now with AI.
Perfect.
So if you're a small business, you don't necessarily have to be a retailer, but what are 5 things you should be doing right now? Welcome back. We're joined in studio here with Scott Meyer from Chipp.ai. We're going to talk about what you should be doing now if you're a local retailer or a storefront. What can you be doing if, I work with a lot of these storefronts downtown, and they put everything into their business, but they also do everything, right? They're the welcome person, they're the cashier, they're the bagger, they're the stocker, they're the, order, the importer, they do the books when they get home at night type thing. So they have to be the AI expert, right? Is what they're thinking. But what should they be doing that is going to maybe more work right now, but it's going to save all those other things?
Yeah, no, I understand this really well. So I actually get to work next to my wife who owns Salt Hill Jewelry. So unique fine jewelry store downtown. And we're using AI for so many things to help her get through the holiday season successfully. So, I think the first thing is thinking about the strategy of all the things you have to do. Start with AI as essentially like your list maker, right? So ask it, here's what I think I have to do for the holiday. I need to make a marketing campaign. I need to take photos. I need to add things to my website. I need to, update opening hours on Google. Like, what am I forgetting, right? And it'll give you just that checklist. And then what you can do is feed that checklist back to AI and say, which of these can you help me with first, right? So you're literally having AI create the list and then help you take action on the list. The ways that it's helping Salt Hill the most is first with the marketing campaign. Like, how do we come up with our kind of angle for the holiday? What are we going to call things? And then you can think about using AI to waterfall that into all the pieces. So I always say with AI, it's great to start with your own idea, whichever platform or type of content idea that is. So if you're good at video, you record a video. If you're good at writing, you do that. If you're good at photos, and then use AI to repurpose that for all the places you need to be. Because one of the hardest things is keeping up with. I need to post on Facebook. I need to put something on, my Google my Google Local. I need to put something on my website. So you can create a list of here's all the things I need to do, and here's our marketing campaign. We have modern heirloom jewelry, and now create a version of this for these 5 things. So create one for LinkedIn and Facebook and website and email and blog, and then there you have it. But it's all based on you, right? Because you came up with the original concept. So that's a great place, is like creating the list, taking action on the list, doing marketing. And then think about if you're in a store like my wife's that has a little bit higher price point, or you have an event, how can you personalize your activities for the holiday? So a lot of businesses might have a CRM with customers, or you have a list of the people who shop with you most often. How can you have AI look at their purchase history and what you currently have in stock and say, write a personal email to this person based on what they like? And then you can touch it up. You're going to make the final touches, but that gives you like a really unique one-to-one. So the grocery store might not do that, but if you're a clothing store or a jewelry store, you have something unique that certain people like, you can now do personalized marketing at scale, which you could really never do before.
So really, if you're writing anything down,
Yes.
you should just write it into AI, and almost if you're using a list for anything, your purchase orders, your list of customers, whatever it is, then ask it, what else could I do with this information to help my company? And
Right.
it'd probably give you a lot of ideas to start
Yeah,
from.
yeah. So those are all ideas we have, kind of, I would call them like external, right? You're creating something with AI and sharing it. And then there's a lot of ways you can use it internally. You mentioned bookkeeping is a really great one. So literally taking pictures of receipts and using AI to convert that into text that you can easily paste into QuickBooks or Xero or whatever your tool might be. Using it to upload a spreadsheet of expenses and what you're making and ask questions against your spreadsheet. So am I on pace? where did my spending increase? What types of items are selling the most that we should market more? So using it for business insights to help you get through the holiday season and save time on the things like a lot of us don't like to do, but we have to keep the business going.
Yeah, I mean, I use it for, there's, like you said, there's when we do something on social media, it's so easy to just copy and paste and put it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all these things, but they have different audiences.
Right.
Maybe same audiences, but they're going there for a different reason, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be a different voice and a different, appeal.
Yeah.
And so it allows you to adjust what may be, cute kid pictures on Facebook is now more professional on LinkedIn, but it's the same topic.
Right. Yeah.
But it did it instantly, basically.
Yeah, and I think people really want a personal touch, but you can think about AI as solving what I call the blank page problem. Like, what am I going to talk about on my Instagram reel? What am I going to write in the little, piece of paper in the storefront? You can get ideas, pick the one you want, and then write it yourself or record the video. So you don't have to have AI do it all, but I think it's a really helpful way to come up with ideas. Maybe you're trying to find just the exact word. Like, we used to use the thesaurus, and now you can just be, I'm looking for a post that is about something like this. What else could I do? And come up with ideas. Also think about like partnerships. I think in the holidays, there's so much value for local businesses supporting one another.
Yep.
And even just saying like, I'm in Fargo, here's where I am. Who should I think about collaborating with? Like, it's going to be able to find the businesses, come up with unique ideas that maybe we wouldn't think about ourselves.
So maybe with that in mind, I was thinking too, at the Downtown Community Partnership representing businesses downtown and also doing events, right? I get a lot of questions like, how is this event going to impact my business? Is it people going to come down at a certain time where I need to staff up or staff down or close or adjust parking or, all these things, right? But I always think of AI. We'll use Salt Hill as an example. They're front and center for the Broadway Square tree lighting, right? Coming up, which we did move the tree. So the tree was on one side of the rink right in front of Salt Hill. It's on the other side now. So there's a clearer path to Salt Hill. You're not blocked off. But I'd also say, asking it, okay, we have this tree lighting that brings down 1,000 people and they are not your regular customers. There may not even be your target market.
Right.
How do we take our business plan for that type of event and say, how do we use this to our advantage?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And coming up with unique ideas and even, things that are kind of annoying. Like we use, MailChimp for email marketing. And if somebody purchases in our POS system, we have to convert that for MailChimp. Just let AI do that, right? Like upload your spreadsheet with all this data that's kind of messy and it doesn't match the other system and being like, I need to import this into MailChimp, update my spreadsheet to match, right? And that saves us a ton of time. Or what are ways I could get emails from the tree lighting ceremony that people would get excited about? So yeah, I think make it specific, right? When you ask general questions, you get general answers.
Yep.
And like you said, if you say like, we're a jewelry store for this event on this day in this town looking for these customers, you're going to get really interesting ideas. And what's nice is that you are the last one that decides, right? The AI is not doing everything. It's giving you the ideas to run with, and you still are going to be the one to take agency and post it or edit it.
Yeah, you only hand over as much control as you want to hand over.
Exactly, yeah.
And so that's a good, for people that have fear out there, it's like there's no fear in trying it, right? You don't have to listen to it. Just like asking anybody's advice doesn't mean you have to take it.
Yeah,
There's
and if you're sick of Mariah Carey Christmas songs, ask for new playlists.
That's a good one, yeah.
You can find lots of fun ways to use it. But yeah, I think use it to enhance the personal touch because that's why people shop local is to have that relationship, that support. You come get custom jewelry from Salt Hill. They can ask what you want and get the perfect piece. But the AI can help with the other stuff that isn't needed for the personal touch, like the bookkeeping or like the email spreadsheet updates, right? That no one cares if that has a personal touch to it.
Yeah, I'm going to take something from the Flint Communications Marketing Summit they had and take it one step. They said, you have to be responding to all your reviews. Mm-hmm. Either say thank you or if they had an issue, thank them for the comment and try to correct the issue. But it's like not responding when those things get left unresponded. But I worry that, okay, responding to somebody who's critical of you, you're at risk of doing worse damage too, right? If you don't respond well.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, AI is one of those things too that can help you get the right emotion. And so if you're responding to a tough email, or say, write how you really want to say it and then say, okay, I need to send this and here's my goal in sending it. and it'll give you some suggestions like, hey, maybe don't use this word, it's a little aggressive, those
Right.
type of things. Or if you're responding to a tough criticism, it's still your message, but it'll take out those unintended consequences.
Yeah, I think the worst thing for business is people don't care enough to say anything, right?
Yes,
Like
absolutely, yeah.
if getting no responses. But one of the things I've noticed with AI, it's great at translation, but not just language to language, like English to Spanish or something. It's actually like we are pretty bad at changing how we speak to our audience. And if I can say, hey, I'm speaking to an engineer, how should this sound? Or I'm speaking to a mom of 3 kids, and like it'll change the tone, like you said. And a lot of times we don't even know how we sound to other people. So it's a good check, just like a grammar check. It's also a tone check.
Yeah, and I think that's what people don't understand is we've used AI for probably our whole lives too in different ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
Spell check.
autocomplete. Yeah,
Yeah,
spell check.
autocorrect, spell check. It's like, where were we before that? Did it make us dumber because we didn't know how to spell? Like, no, it just made everything a little bit crisper. You know? And
yeah.
it's
And I think people can lean into their strengths. Like one of my favorite findings from AI research is that older people are actually better at AI, and it's typically because they have expertise already. And I always say, if you want to make an image that looks like Picasso and you don't know who Picasso is, like, how do you explain that, right? It's like good questions give good answers. And if you have expertise, if you are a local business owner, you can ask exactly what you want. Like, I need a campaign for these people. If I'm hypothetically helping a business and I don't really know who their customers are, like, I'm going to ask a general question and get a general answer. So lean into your expertise, and AI is going to be more powerful for you. And it makes your strengths better, so lean into what you do that's unique, and AI will just make that even more powerful.
yeah, it's an enhances your own power, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So when we come back, we're going to keep Scott on, and we're going to bring it back to downtown Fargo and why Scott decided to relocate here and build a company here and why that's different. Welcome back. We're talking everything downtown, but today we're digging a little deeper into artificial intelligence with one of our downtown companies called Chipp, and we have Scott Meyer here. Scott, why Fargo? Why downtown Fargo?
I mean, I always love downtown. I feel like I get to meet people, get to interact. I always say, like, in the Midwest, you have to create density. It's not just naturally like people doing stuff right next to you. So downtown's a way to do that, to get inspiration, to see people, and that's kind of why I'm downtown. And in terms of why Fargo, yeah, I'm not from here. Originally from Brookings, South Dakota. I was living in Minneapolis, and Fargo originally came to start the Entrepreneurship Center at North Dakota State. And Fargo was a great kind of in between Minneapolis and Brookings. I could be close to family and not right next to family. But I knew people here. I knew it was a great community, and that has lived up to that billing.
I think people don't understand in Fargo, we always think of the tech boom, right? The .com boom, where you had to be on the West Coast to build a tech company. Yeah. And that's just not a thing anymore. If anything, technology's allowed it to do it anywhere. Right. But Fargo's really worked hard to build an ecosystem where people can found companies and technology, you work together and you support each other. And I think downtown is that good kind of incubator for those things.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pieces to an ecosystem. It's having other people working in similar spaces, right? So other founders, other people starting companies. It's having funding opportunities from individuals to venture capitalists. It's having the resources like buildings and coaches and banks and all of these pieces. So it's one of those things that it continues to grow and improve. And what's also nice is you can go fly into these big cities and meet with investors and other companies, and they might not even know you're not there. Like you fly in and out, you spend work time here where you get stuff done, and then you can have a good balance that way.
So I just asked ChatGPT why an AI company should locate in downtown Fargo. Okay. I thought that'd be a fun experiment.
To be by Chipp, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, it says, because downtown Fargo punches above its weight. You've got a walkable access to startups, universities, creative talent, coffee shops, arts, events, and community that actually shows up.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's well said. I think, I think, you can start a company anywhere, but I think when you are in a community where people, you have a little social pressure to show up, right? Like people aren't fly by night, you're not making deals with people you don't know. I think the challenge is you have to think big, right? Like being a big fish in Fargo doesn't mean you're going to succeed. You have to compare yourself to the international market. And so it's good to know what's going on outside the market and then have people that hold you accountable locally. And it's been great to myself, have friends that are on the investment side, on the building side, and organizations like Emerging Prairie and Grand Farm that are really pushing things forward and providing activities for founders.
Okay, I'm going to ask, are you a routine guy or not? So do you go to one coffee shop or do you go to multiple coffee shops? That's
I'm routine-ish. Yeah. I'm often at Youngblood or at the one across from the Black Building.
Moonrise.
Moonrise with
Yeah.
the pastries. So yeah, I tend to have more of a routine, but I'm an efficiency guy. So if I know I can like order online, grab it,
That's fair. Yeah.
that's usually what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, some people just like a different, you go to different lunch places, but with coffee
yeah.
shops, people tend to have a favorite.
Yeah, it's like Cheers, right? You had like where everyone knows your name. It kind of feels that way. And there's so many good options, though. I think when we first looked at Fargo 2019, my wife and I were thinking about coming here, and we went to Youngblood, and we had the toast there.
Oh, the toast is so good.
And it was really great. And I told my wife, like, if this exists in Fargo, probably all the other things we want also exist. It was kind of the canary in the coal mine that like this community has things that we want. So I think it's great to have these, different coffee shops, different shops like Salt Hill and others, where it's like, if the community supports this, it also will support other things I care about.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I always get paranoid because I represent all businesses. So do I have to jump around, or if I get Starbucks on the way back from the radio station because I have to drive out here, is everyone going to stare at me like you didn't go to a local downtown store?
Yeah, well, I have a couple of friends who are into brewing, and what they say is like the more microbrews there are, the more people drink craft beer. So it's there's kind of an element of teaching the market to appreciate whether it's good coffee, good beer, good jewelry, good clothes. Like, you want to elevate the standards of the community.
No, that's great. So one thing I like to do on this show too is with the downtown community is try to have, share the love, right? So tell me something about something going on downtown that doesn't often get a lot. There's some things we all love, like Christkindlmarkt coming up, when stuff Folkways does. They also get a lot of attention, which is great too. They deserve it. But give something that maybe needs attention that you see or you like downtown that you're not part of. Just show some love.
Yeah, that's great. Can you hear me okay? I can't hear myself, but maybe that's...
Yeah, your mic, you have to switch mics for a second here.
Sure. Does this one sound all right?
Yeah,
No,
that one's good. Sorry, we had a technical issue.
No, that's fine. Every day I get to look out at the ice skating rink, and it's so amazing to see families come down and just like share memories right there on the square, and the sun's coming in, and they're getting ready to fill it up. So I'm really excited for public spaces in downtown, and especially like unexpected public spaces. Just walking around, you wouldn't even know it's there till you turn the corner. And so I think getting people outside in the winter is a challenge in this part of the country. And what I found is it's really essential to survive in the north is you have to have a reason to get excited about winter. So for me, it's sauna, and it's cross country skiing, and seeing people on the ice rink. So I think whatever you can do that gets you outside is great. And I think the ice rink's a hidden gem downtown.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes it a little Hallmark movie situation.
Oh, it's unreal. It's so, it looks like a postcard for sure.
Yeah, Rockefeller Center. And, I think people come here and they're like, well, we need that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think about the Fargo Theater. They are doing a fundraising effort right now for their 100-year anniversary. And I always just think about, that where you mentioned Broadway Square, right? It was a active development, then it became a parking lot for a few decades. Now it's another active development. In that whole time that huge development changes, shifts happened, Fargo Theater still just remained. And when you look at it as like a cultural icon, the investment into that placemaking of that marquee, like that was not a good investment right away. Someone had to be like, hey, we got to put up this ridiculously large and expensive sign. Yeah. They're like, we just sell movie tickets. Why do we need this big sign? But you look back on it now and the investment somebody made in culture and place.
Oh, yeah. And I think like
the return is huge.
In the age of Instagram, the little murals you have around downtown are some of the most photographed things.
There's like over 50 murals.
Yeah. And it's amazing because it's like, when you think when you go somewhere, you see things differently. You have the visitor stare and the tourist gaze, I think they call it. And it's like, there's so much to gaze at downtown when you're not from here and you see it and you take a photo by the Welcome to Fargo mural, or you take a photo in the Mario alley, or by one of Leslie Ann's pieces downtown, like just amazing stuff. So I love those little sprinkles of uniqueness because every town can look the same if you don't have placemaking.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Good reason to keep investing in our center. It makes it unique, makes the community difference where people come and get their first impression. It's where we get people to move here.
Yeah,
right?
That's why I moved here. I mean, I was downtown. That's what I looked at first. That's what got felt different, right? It felt more active than my hometown of Brookings because of that.
All right, so if someone wants to find more as we're closing out the show here, how do they find more about you and your company and hop into your resources?
Yeah, so Chipp, great way to get started with AI as a business. So you can just go to chipp.ai and learn more there. What's nice is you can just say what you want, and Chipp will actually build it for you. So we use AI to build your AI, so it's very meta. So start there and come on downtown to the ice skating rink. Chipp's office faces the rink, facing south on Broadway Square. And as you mentioned, Christmas tree's coming, so come enjoy the holiday season, and you can do some great shopping downtown.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. And next week, we're going to be live from Christkindlmarkt. So we'll be on remote there.
I'll probably be there.
With Emma McIntyre as our guest host next week.